Hey guys, welcome to Mullen's Raw Fitness here today. I'm really excited. We got a couple topics. We're going to do a 6-video series on the Paul Chek's 6 foundation principles of health. These are vitally important. I try to live these. I try to pass all these on to all my clients. And if you're in line with these 6 foundational principles, they really look at building the foundation of your house, if you will, your temple, your body. Okay, and these are really important. So here at Mullen's Raw Fitness, Raw standing for Revitalized Athletic Wellness, most of us have never really experienced health. And that's where, what we try to do here, going over this 6-video series should be your foundation for building the rest of your lifestyle, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We're going to talk about the 6 foundation principles. Again, I'm a lifestyle coach, a holistic lifestyle coach. I like to look at the whole approach of things. Again, like we talked about, body, mind, and spirit. And I think in order for you to really achieve optimal health, that is what's necessary. So our 6 foundation principles, as you can see, I got my little yin and yang, when we talk about that, many people think this is a opposite thing, but it's these must be in line with each other. It's a dual action. It's this with that. It's not contradictory to each other. It's one and the same. So we have, first we'll talk about our yang, our male, our fire, our catabolic system. So these are things that are energy expending. We have thinking, which is what we're going to talk about today. We have breathing, and we have moving. Okay, those are 3 of the 6 foundation principles, and those are what we call the yang principles. The yin principles, which are anabolic, they're building up, they're rest and digest, are sleep, hydration, and nutrition. Okay, you can't have one without the other. You can't only think well, breathe well, and move well, and then forget about the rest, because as you'll notice through this 6-video series, they're all in line with each other, and you need all of them in order to really achieve vitality. Okay, so first thing, again, we're talking about thinking here today. Thinking is the #1 aspect, and that's why we're doing it first, because if you have poor thinking, or what we call stinking thinking, it's going to be extremely hard to get in line with all the rest here. I love this. Change our thoughts, our perceptions, change your world. A lot of times you can have 2 people and the same exact thing happen to each one of them, and depending on their thoughts and their perception of their reality, it could almost seem like 2 completely different events that occurred, when really it was the exact same. And sometimes looking at that is how do we perceive the world around us? How is our thoughts? Because our thoughts, become habits, and our habits become what we actually do every day, and that will equate to what is the lifestyle we're living. Is it in line with what the lifestyle I want? If it's not, we need to really look at how are we thinking. Studies show 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day for most humans. That's a lot of thoughts. Don't ask me how they know that it's 60 to 70,000 or 60 to 80,000, but that's a lot of thoughts, guys. And 80% of those are negative. Well, again, like we said, what we call stinking thinking. Okay, so if 80%, 8 out of 10 thoughts that you have are negative, think of the world around you as always, it seems so dark, so gloomy. So that's something we would really want to look at if we were looking at health, because again, if we're always in a negative state, how healthy could we really be? Thoughts are things, just like this whiteboard, just like my laptop. All things physical we use, for example, right now, started off as a thought. It started off as a creative idea, and manifested itself into the physical. And thoughts, if I'm sitting here, oh, I'm overweight, I can't do this, I look fat, I do this, the main things that we hear all the time, right? They will physically your body will start to portray and live that way, okay? Because we are not only physical beings, we're mental, emotional, and spiritual beings. Our body, mind, and spirit has to be in line with each other, okay? I'll use an example. Say you're looking at your 6 foundational principles. You eat well, you move 20-30 minutes a day, you feel you're doing everything right, but you're not seeing the results you want. and you tend to go home and, or say you go to work, and for instance you're you're working with something, say a butcher for instance. I'll just use a blatant kind of example. Say you're a butcher, but you don't agree with the meat that you're getting, the commercially raised meat. You don't believe in the process of the way commercial farmers raise their cattle or whatever you're selling at the butcher shop. So you're almost developing a moral dilemma every time you go into work. So even if you feel you're as healthy as can be, but you're constantly going and having a moral dilemma every single day you go to work, you're going to have issues. You're not going to be, because you're constantly battling with yourself every day, and that has a lot to do with our thoughts and everything that we're doing throughout our life. So thoughts are so important with how we're living, with what's going on with the world around us. Not just weight loss or health, because what we're trying to do is we're not trying to help. We're not looking at symptoms. We're not looking at, okay, I have this disease, I have an autoimmune disease, I have heart disease. We're not looking at treating symptoms, treating the disease. We're looking at treating and helping and bringing the person with the disease back to health and vitality. Okay, and that's why we talked about revitalized athletic wellness, which is what R.A.W stands for here at R.A.W Mullens Fitness, or Mullens R.A.W Fitness, because we need to revitalize ourselves and bring us back to vitality and health. And the way to do that is to fix the person, not the disease. The person just happens to have a disease, and once we come back to good health, a lot of those will go away. So that's our goal here. What we have is, in the first video, this is our R.A.W 5-step action plan. Okay, so what this shows is the first one and the most important thing, something I talk about with all my clients, and what I do myself is what is your dream? What is your legacy? What do you want to be remembered for? And that's very powerful stuff. We always talk about, oh, how do we set goals, or I want to set goals. Well, it needs to be bigger than goals. It needs to be a dream. And it has to be in line with your values. What are your values, and what do you value in life? Say your values are to I'll use me for instance. One of my values is to help people become the absolute best they can be, and I don't mean that in a cliche way, but I mean what I really enjoy doing. One of my passions is helping people and myself look, feel like they can accomplish anything. Like they're they feel fantastic. And it's not so much, oh, I want to help people lose weight. I want to help people feel great. That is what one of some of my values are. So I'm looking at that. What is my overall dream? How do I want to be remembered? And that helps me stay on track and helps me with my thinking. And you would be surprised, guys, when you develop your dream, at how much simpler things come. It's so, I feel once I developed my dream, I really became much more open to things. I saw things in a different light, and it was so inspiring, and it felt so good that I promise you, once you develop your dream, it's the first step to success and to health. And that's what we need to do first. Okay? And if you struggle with that, if you really struggle with, I'm trying, I'm really trying, and I can't develop what my dreams are. I have some values, but I can't really figure out, what I value in life and what really is important to me. So sometimes you may have to look at, what is your nightmare? Maybe your father, passed away from heart disease, and you're starting to head down that road, and that's scary to you, which it should be. We need to look at, okay, that's my nightmare. I do not want that to happen to me, and start doing things in line with that. To take you away from that. We do things based off coming towards love, or going away from things, going away from fear. So, looking at your nightmare may be a very powerful tool for you to start. Second thing is the gratitude log. I try to recommend a lot of people do this. I'm trying to get better with this. But when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, write down 5 to 10 things that you are grateful for right now. Okay? It could be as simple as you have the ability to drive around a car that works. Okay, That is something to be grateful for, because many people do not have that opportunity. And what this does is it helps bring us away from the stinking thinking, even if it's just in a matter of a short period of time, into a more resonating, positive outlook on life. Okay, it takes us from, said the story, two things happen to the same person. One looks at it like this, the other looks at it like this. The gratitude log can really help us look at it in the positive sense and start to look at things in life in a more positive way. And what that'll do is your body, your mind, your subconscious mind will start to look at things in life more times than it was before, looking at more of the positive in life. And this will again kind of, everything is, they say, is on a frequency, positive, happy, love, grateful, gratitude is on a higher frequency. So if you're on that frequency, you'll start to bring more things that you'll be grateful for in life. If you're on a low frequency of fear, anger, you'll bring more of those into your life. So changing your thoughts and changing your perspectives by adding a gratitude log will be hugely important for your overall success and health. The second is having a present and positive goal. So what I mean by that is, having a goal and saying it in the present tense. Similar to like we were just mentioning with the gratitude log, it'll start to see things in your subconscious mind, which is very powerful, will to start to see and act and do things in line with that present goal, because you're telling yourself, I am already doing this. Okay, not like, oh, I want to do that, because that says you don't have it. Okay, you want to say things like you already do. I want that. It's not, I want that new BMW. It's, I'm riding that. I'm riding around in that black whatever new Audi or whatever you like. Or looking at health. I am comfortable and confident, and I feel great in my body. I feel comfortable going onto the beach, and saying that over and over and over, your body will start to resonate, and your body will start to physically do things that are in line with that, and you'd be surprised at how powerful your body will do things physically to get you in line with that goal and that affirmation, which is what we talk about in our fourth step of the action plan: affirmations and visualizations. Like we were just talking about the affirmations, having a goal and saying it in a present tense is very powerful. I have this that I got at one of my holistic coaching programs. I let go of all expectations. For me, one of the biggest things I do is, again, I want to be the best version of myself possible. I really put a lot of expectations on myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and if I wasn't perfect, if I didn't do everything, perfect or completely reach my expectations, because a lot of times they say the higher the expectations, the lesser the quality, I had talking with a professional basketball coach one time. They were saying how the March Madness, there was a team that there was no expectations on them, and they made it all the way to the Final Four, and they were doing really, really good because they had no expectations. So there was no dilemma. There was no, they felt free. They could live the way they wanted to, play the way they wanted to, and if they lost, they lost. So they didn't have the expectations. But once they got to the Final Four, now all of a sudden everyone was like, wow, this seems great. Put a bunch of pressure on them, and now all of a sudden the quality of their play backed off tremendously, and they had a horrible game. So it's similar in the sense of that, with expectations. We don't always want to put expectations on ourselves that are put so much pressure and stress on us. So I really like this. Is I let go of all expectations. That really helps me relax, and kind of really helps me look at things like, okay, this is my dream, this is my goal, this is my legacy. I'm in line with it. I'm in line with my values. I'm looking at the 6 foundational principles, and I'm utilizing them and doing them myself. So I have faith and know that, okay, if I wasn't perfect here, that's part of the process, and keep moving on. So that really helps me. Visualizing every night before you go to bed, when you wake up, when you have time during the day, whatever it is, start to visualize the life you want to live, or the body you want. Say you want to lose some weight, you want to look good. Start to visualize yourself in that sense, in that matter now. Or maybe it's a career change, and you want to really look at, this is the lifestyle that I want. Start to visualize it every day with emotions. See, hear, smell, feel. Make it as real as possible, because your body does not know the difference between what you're imagining in your mind and what's really happening in reality. I used this at a seminar a couple weeks ago about the powerful aspect of our subconscious mind, that I had everyone sit down, close their eyes. It was a warm, sunny day. They're in Florida. They walked into a beautiful garden with a beautiful lemon tree, and just so happens that there happens to be a little table sitting there. And they cut open a lemon. It looks real good, juicy. They take a big bite into it, and I had them stop and look at what did they notice in their body. And a lot of them, you know, they felt the sourness. Their saliva glands started really producing a lot of saliva, even though they physically weren't eating a lemon. But it really shows you at the power of your mind, that your mind will physically do things, hormonally, physically, anything, to get in line with what you're visualizing. So the more often you do it, the more powerful it's going to be, and that's some really powerful stuff, guys. I know you hear, you know, you may have read or seen the movie The Secret, where they talk about law of attraction. Your mind is, your reality is what you think about most, and that's very powerful. And the last one is no thought activities and smile. We live in a very high stress lifestyle. We're always go, go, go. We're always, you know, even when we think we're resting and trying to take, okay, I just worked all day, I want to go home and watch TV. What we don't realize is that we're still stimulating the brain. We're still constantly going. So we never give our brain time to relax and recover. One of the best ways to help, you know, psychologically, you know, is to make sure you're sleeping from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. There's a psychological repair happening in the body from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. So going that will help with our positive thinking and help repair the nervous system and all that, and the hormonal system. And so doing more no thought activities. So what I mean by no thought activities, you know, meditating, sitting down in your living room and just focusing on breathing. We'll talk a little bit about breathing in the next video. But just focusing on your breath, big inhale through the nose, expanding the belly. And you know, sometimes I'll use walking as a no thought. I'll just focus on my breath. I'll just look straight ahead of me, and I'll if you know, kind of an active meditation. You know, if things come into my thought process, I'll accept them and then try to move on and go back to my breath. Just so where I'm not thinking, to give my mind some recovery time. You know, you can do things like yoga, all that. So all those are really good. And then smile, guys. You know, you won't really see a sad person, you know, smile. At least all the time, you know, and it's very powerful. You know, you can try it, you know, today when you get upset, when you get sad, try to put on a smile, even if it's fake at first, and see how different your body, you'll notice you'll stand up a little bit taller. It'll be a little hard to stay in that negative mindset, that stinking thinking. So that's some powerful stuff, and really just kind of a little action plan that you can do on a daily basis when you're starting to get upset, to take you away from the victim thinking, the oh, poor me, you know. So it'll really help here, guys. So that's it for the first of the 6 video series. Talked about thinking, the #1 step. If you want to get back to health, you want to, you know, improve the success of your life, improve your lifestyle. It all starts with your thinking. I got a couple books that I've read that I really like. There's plenty out there. This one was huge for me. I really like this one, Psycho-Cybernetics. You know, you can get it on Amazon. It's really cool stuff, and they have some really cool tricks in there that you can kind of use to kind of help reprogram, you know, kind of some of your mental thoughts and all that. You know, Tony Robbins' books, Awaken the Giant Within. I don't have that one, you know, here with me today, but that's a really powerful one too. Jack Canfield's Life Success Principles. You know. Anything that you can look at, improving the subconscious mind, improving the mind, helping you think. Again, we talked about the Check Institute. Paul Check's really good. He has a program, the PPS Success Mastery Program. I would highly look at ppssuccess.com. A lot of cool tools there. I've utilized a lot of that stuff as well. And you know, it's a process. We continue to try to get better and better, but take these little 5 action steps, you utilize them today, and you'll feel a whole lot different in your life, and hopefully that'll help you start to reach your goals. Thanks, guys.